Om Namah Shivaya. Good afternoon to all of you.
Good afternoon, Swamiji.
So, first of all, let me thank the coordinators for giving me an opportunity to be here and sharing some of my thoughts. As Arya was telling, for the past many years, I've been traveling. In fact, some of us, two or three of us, were traveling to many schools, Amrita Vidyalayams, and communicating with all the students. In fact, some classes like motivation classes. So, especially for the senior most students like +1, +2, even 10th standard, 15 and above, I used to take classes about the life skills connected with one's personality development. So here we are. Actually, I'll be talking about some of these life skills which we should develop. So that's at the bottom. That's just a small introduction. Now I can see that about 14 participants are there already. So since we should follow the time schedule, I'm starting. First of all, I guess now most of you are in your teens, or maybe some of you may be working. I don't know exactly your age, but some of you, most of you must be studying. I think so. So you might have some plan by now what exactly you should do or take up as a career. Some of you may be pursuing the science stream, would like to go for engineering or connected with that. Or some of you may have taken commerce, would like to go for banking or chartered accountancy, various things. So let me begin with a small incident, like what happened around some years back. It was Amma's birthday actually, maybe about 8 or 9 years back. So I was in the college. So I was having a responsibility of arranging the accommodation for the general public. So at that time, I saw one devotee, one Western devotee. Actually, he was from Lebanon. He was bringing one professor from Harvard University. You must have heard of Harvard University. So he was being brought to the college to give a talk to the BBM students. You know what is BBM? Bachelor of Business Management. So there were about 40 or 45 students. So this man also was from Lebanon, but from Harvard University. So I was quite interested to know what exactly he is talking about. So I went and sat in the class along with the participants. So he talked for about, say, 1 hour about various management principles, various things. And in the end, he said there was a lady who had a cheesecake factory who was a very successful industrialist, who was from a very poor family, who started making cheesecake on the floor of a house because she was very poor. But because of the quality of the cake, over a period of time, she became very successful. And he asked one question in the end: what is the reason behind her success? Then various answers came like quality of the product, hard work, and all that. But he said something different. She was successful because she listened to her heart. Now, what does that mean? Listening to the heart. You take a stethoscope and start listening to your heart. No. She pursued her passion. She loved what she did. So when I take the classes, especially for the students of class 2, I ask them, what is your ambition first? Some of them have got some plans, but some of them don't have. I said, it's okay if you don't have it, fine. But then start listening to your heart right from this moment, or say from this day. It is whispering something to you. What is your passion? What exactly you would like to do? So what happens if you get a job where you have a real passion or you really like it? Definitely it won't be monotonous. It won't be boring. You'll have some creativity, a lot of creative things. It'll be joyful. So there are certain things which one should know about, see, especially when you are taking up a job, when you go for an interview, or even you have taken up a job and you're working, there are certain things which we should be knowing about. In fact, in schools now, most of these things are being taught. But let me share some of the things because I've been reading, referring to some psychology books, life skills books, and various such things, so that I could share some of this to the students. Now, suppose here I have got some 5 students sitting here next to me. Now, let me take one example. Is there anyone who is doing engineering? No. Anyone who wants to do engineer course? No one. Okay, then let's take an example. Let's say I have here Ria. Let me take one name. I don't know what Ria likes to do, but then suppose she's planning for, say she's doing computer engineering or she's going to go for computer engineering. And then after say 4 years of engineering course, she joins Infosys or say TCA, something like TCS. What is that? Yeah, TCS. And then she's paid about say 60,000 per month. She's very happy. After some years, she would like to, be elevated in a post, like she wants to become a team leader or a manager, but she doesn't have an MBA degree. So she goes for the evening colleges and then takes a evening course and then takes an MBA degree. Now the company actually make her a team leader. Previously, she had the technical knowledge of the computer. She was working on that. But now she's a team leader and about say 50 people are under her. So the knowledge of the computers or the technical skill alone is not enough. Correct? There is something else which you require. What is that? That is exactly the life skills. So life skills enable individuals to translate knowledge, attitudes, and values into actual abilities. What to do, how to do it. In fact, let's say what is hard skill? Hard skill refer to one's education, experience, expertise, all the technical things. But soft skills or life skills are a set of skills which we have to develop, which will help us in interacting with others. Now, for example, creativity, analytical thinking, diplomacy, flexibility, readiness to change, problem solving skills, leadership qualities. I request everybody should know pen and book. We didn't bring any pen and book. Can you give some pens and papers over here? All of you are sitting over your table. Please keep a book and pen, some of the things which will be very useful for you. And we'll have some analysis also later. So it would be good if you have a pen and paper next to you. So now let us name 9 of those life skills. Now, what are those 9 things, especially very important ones? We will start with self-awareness. Self-awareness, empathy. You know what is empathy? It's not sympathy, empathy. Then creative thinking, critical thinking, problem solving, decision making, then effective communication skills, interpersonal relationships, and managing one's emotions, or let's say stress and emotions. So what are the 9 which I've told? Let's say, okay, I'll repeat. Self-awareness, empathy, creative thinking, critical thinking, problem solving, decision making, effective communication skills, interpersonal relationship, and stress management or managing one's emotion. So here we are going to deal, I'm going to talk about self-awareness. Now let's say, what is self-aware? Self-awareness means knowing about ourselves. Very simple. Now what do we know about ourselves? Right now we know we are the we are or I'm the son or I'm the daughter of so and so. I'm studying, I'm living in this place. I'm studying this course or I'm working. I mean, these are the things which we know. We also know something about our positive qualities, efficiency. That's good because we need to know our strength. But there is something else we have to know. What is that? We have to know about our negativity, negative qualities, or our weaknesses also. Now, why is it that? Why it is important? As I said, we are going to interact in the society when you are going to take up a job or when you are going to work in with your teams. A lot of interactions required. We need to know more about ourselves. It's very important. Now, every one of us have a habit, like when two people come together, we would like to talk about somebody else. We have a tendency to look at others' faults with a lens or a powerful lens or a binoculars or something like. Instead of that, Amma often says we should look at our own faults with a microscope. Now, what does that mean? Amma tells you another example. Suppose you have a floor in your room, in your house, you are sweeping with a broom. Now you have swept all the dust and you have put it in the dustbin. You from outside, we feel that, okay, the room is clean. But when you wipe the room with a wet cloth, a white one, you can see a lot of dirt. So this is the process of trying to know more about ourselves. The more and more we know about ourselves, so let's take one example. One negative quality like anger. Some of us have this anger, terrible anger. Amma says anger is like a double-edged sword. It hurts everyone, the one who uses it as well as the other side. So we might actually react to certain situations. Suppose we come across a situation wherein it is not so favorable. Some people talk something about us, or some situations come, we become angry. In your house also, maybe. Like past 2 years, we have been confined to the house, and I mean, it was quite difficult. When I was taking this class for some months back to the engineering students, I had a feedback of one boy telling about. Uh, in fact, he had the habit. He had the habit of, like fighting with his parents. He was not aware of himself. But then he came to know more about it, and he was quite happy. I was suggesting one thing. Like in the house, especially when now, of course, things are quite different. But you are in the house, confined to the house, 4 people in 4 rooms, always on the mobile. I was suggesting that every day, the whole family, father, mother, parents, and children should be together and should have dinner together. And even if there is some sort of an, like verbal exchange, we should settle all that and then happily sleep. So every day, actually, if you can do this, it actually takes care of so much of our problems. So the suggestion here, one suggestion from one psychologist is empty the mind of all this, like accumulated nonsense and rubbish. Every night, empty the mind of all the accumulated nonsense and rubbish. Then the doubts, empty the mind about the doubts. Then the self-criticism. Some of us have the habit of always criticizing ourselves. I'm no good. I mean, that's very bad because the mind is like, it's like a chattering box, keeps on talking. And the more and more we criticize ourselves, we lose self-confidence, isn't it? So we should stop that. And the fourth one, the constantly returning videos of situations of anger and regret. During the course of the day, there might have been so many incidents where you must have got angry or some negativities, and then it gets replayed again. So we should stop that. So they empty the mind of all the accumulated nonsense and rubbish, the doubt, self-criticism, and the constantly returning videos of situations of anger and regret, hatred, etc. So what we should do? First, clean out the mind. You can note down some of the points if you want. Clean out the mind. Number two, replace old negativity with new thoughts and values. Old negativity with new thoughts and values. Instead of reacting, we learn to respond. Like, Amma tells very one simple practical suggestions. Suppose some situation come where we are going to react, but before the word, between the thought and the word, or the thought and the action, increase that gap, the time gap. That will heal, that will solve the problem. So that immediate reaction can be avoided. We learn to respond. We understand the people, isn't it? Now when I go for in different schools, some children come and say, I don't like this person. I don't know how I can deal with him or her. Why do we have a sort of a dislike? We have some expectations in the mind. That person should be like this or like this, or that situation should be like this. But when that, according to our expectations, things don't come up, we start disliking it. But instead of that, I suggested that if you can accept that person as what he or she is, this may actually could solve the problem. Unnecessary expectations can actually lead to rejections, depressions. So let that situation, let that person be what he is or what she is. Nama tells again another example. We cannot change the situations. Malayalam, some people know. Paristhiti matam batilla makkale. Manasthiti matam means, I'm talking in English because there are some people from Pune, from outside the states, not only from Kerala. So I hope you don't mind some of the people in Kerala. So the attitude can be changed. We cannot change the situation. I'll tell you another example. There was a shoe company. They wanted one type of shoes which they made to be marketed in one remote corner in Africa. So they sent one marketing executive to that place. That person was almost there for 1 month, and he came back and told his boss, sir, we cannot sell our shoes there because nobody is wearing even chapel. They're all barefooted. Okay, fine. So that boss sent another man to the same place, and that man came within 1 week and said, so we can sell our shoes. There's a lot of potential because nobody is wearing shoe. Now the situation is same, does not change, but the outlook has changed. The attitude has changed. So many situations when we come across, we unnecessarily feel, that there are a lot of problems, but most of it could be, of course, problems. Maybe there are serious problems, but most of it will be, our own mind creating it. We have another example of the half glass thing. Some of you must have heard about it. Suppose there is a glass of water, say half glass of water. Now you will ask for a glass of water to someone. That person gets it, but there's only half glass. Now you can react in two ways. Are you have brought only half glass of water. It is half empty. You can say either you can say it is half empty and be sad about it, or you can say, oh, it is half full. It depends on our attitude, outlook. So this is a secret actually, because situations cannot be changed. We cannot change the situations wherever we are, but we can change our attitude. So clean out the mind, replace old negativity with new thoughts and values. Be aware of your mistakes, admit it. Take responsibility of your own mistakes, admit it. Don't put the blame on somebody else. We all make mistakes, we all have failures in life. Fourth one, never remind others of their mistakes. Well, if it is some adharma, which is we have to point out, but in a nice way. But many times we always find faults with others. But friends, maybe sometimes we may have to do it, but we have to use our discretion. Number 5, be open to new ideas and new ways of thinking. New ideas and new ways of thinking. And reduce self-criticism. We're not talking about it. Reduce self-criticism. And the 7th point is very important. Relax. Don't be tense about life. Learn to relax. It could be like sometimes take some time to go and play, do some exercise, or listen to some music, maybe some movie, if you are seeing that. Or some of you can do yoga. Many things are there. Relax. So, these are some of the things which we can do it. Now, I came across there is something else. There are about, say, 7 points again, which will hinder or block our growth. Now, we all have there are 3 formulas for the success in life. What is that? Suppose, as I said before, you have a plan to do something. So the first thing which you should have is a goal in life. So let's say give a formula. What is that? HG, have a goal. What is your goal? Okay, to become this, to become that. You want to achieve that. Now to achieve that, whatever is your goal, you have to make plans. So let's say the second formula is MP, HGMP. Now, having had a goal and then, of course, you have made plans, the third step is, suppose you're going to play football against someone, other team. Your goal is to win the match. The captain, everyone make some plans. Third step is very important. You have to play well, work hard, WH. So, HGMPWH, success is ours. But then there are certain things which might hinder our growth or block our growth. What are those? So we have got again 7 points here. Number 1, you can write the I can't syndrome. What is this I can't syndrome? If somebody tells you something, sorry. If someone asks you to do something, your mommy, your mother, your father ask you to do something, the first reaction is, no, I can't. I can't do it. Anything somebody asks you, say, I can't do it. This is called the I can't syndrome. Biology students, you know what is syndrome. Syndrome means sort of a disease, right? So the I can't syndrome. That is one thing which stops our growth. Second one is apathy. Apathy means it is opposite of empathy. Now, what is empathy? Sympathy, you know. All of you know. Some of you know about empathy. Well, what is sympathy? Let's say, take an example. We have a lot of, say, a dozen bananas we have. Somebody gave you or you bought it. You're eating one by one. Then a small child comes to you and say, please give me, I have not eaten anything for some good days, 2, 3 days. Of course, you give some 5 bananas to that child. Maybe that you can say it is karunya or say sympathy. But what is empathy is the child's hunger, you can feel it. It becomes your hunger. You start viewing things through their eyes. You put yourself into others' shoe. So that is called empathy. It is required in every stage of life. So apathy is straight opposite. The apathy is I don't care syndrome. Whatever happens, I'm not bothered. Insensitive. No, that's not good, right? And the third one is closed-mindedness. Closed-mindedness means you just close your mind. I know everything. I don't have to listen to all this. No. Till the end of our life, to the last birth, we are learning. Every moment, we have to learn from the nature, from the children, from every situation. We have to keep our hearts open. So closed-mindedness out. That's also the third one. I mean, that also stops our growth. So rule out. Fourth, unfounded anxiety means being anxious about everything. Fear, having fear, isn't it? Unfounded anxiety. Just being anxious about the future. Of course, you should have some plans, but then you shouldn't be too anxious about the future, right? You should just do whatever you can. So unfounded anxiety. 5, fear of taking chances. Fear of taking chances. Now this fear, I read somewhere, what is fear? F-E-A-R. Fantasized experiences appearing real. Most of the things are actually, it's like fantasized. Means it has not taken place. We are having an apprehension, something will happen. So fantasized experiences appearing real. So fear of taking chances. Small things like risk. If you cannot take it, you won't be successful. So that can hinder our growth. The 6th one is a loss of motivation. That's what we are doing now. The whole class is about self-motivation. Occasionally failures, and then, sometimes many factors affect our enthusiasm. It will affect our goal consciousness. Our effort will become affected. So many problems. And the last one in this is let someone else do it syndrome. You are asked to do something, but you pass it on to someone else. Let someone else do it. I'm not going to do it. So this again, we are actually depriving ourselves of a chance to do or grow. So these are some of the things which will affect our growth. Now we will be doing a small confidence analysis. Now why is it that confidence is all these points are all connected with this one. So it's all interconnected. Why is it that confidence is very important? What is confidence? It is the ability to take appropriate and effective action in any situation, however challenging it appears, isn't it? We talked about fear of taking chances. It teaches you to live without fear and inspires others around you and stop others also from panicking, isn't it? When a situation comes, when you suddenly get tensed up, that can actually, make others also tensed. But if the leader is confident, suppose you are having a team, if the leader is confident, naturally everyone will be confident. But if the leader himself or herself is little bit, like less confident, it could create problems. So confidence is very important. And again, in confidence, there are 10 core indicators of confidence. You don't have to write the full thing, because these are all things. This is not just to write down. After the class or in the evening or any time, keep looking at this. And then you have some pointers here, which might, again trigger something in the brain. Sometimes you may be a little depressed, or you're going through some difficult situations. So try to, like put it in. So there are 10 core indicators of confidence. You can maybe in the headings you can just write, but the whole thing you don't have to. Directions and values. Everyone should have directions and values. You know what you want, where you want to go, and what's really important to you. What you want in life, or what you want to do, where you want to go, and what's really important. So you have some directions and values. So the confident people will have direction and value. Motivation, we already talked about. You are motivated by whatever you are doing. You enjoy what you are doing. Nothing distracts you. So that is motivation. Then the third one is emotional stability. You have a very calm and focused approach towards the problems. Emotional stability. All of you know what is that? IQ. What is IQ? Intelligent quotient, isn't it? But there is something actually, when I had a chance to go teach this meditation class in Indian Institute of Management in Bangalore, I was actually a little surprised. They even talk about SQ, spiritual quotient. It's not only the IQ they just refer to, EQ, emotional quotient, even spiritual quotient. Even those are some of the factors which they look into when you go for interviews or taking up a job. So this emotional stability, isn't it? You notice difficult emotions such as anger and anxiety, and you start working with them. Then you have a positive mindset. You have the ability to stay optimistic. What is optimism? Always a positivity. You have a positive outlook towards everything. Confident people will have a positive outlook, isn't it? I'll tell you now about two people whom I have met. They are my heroes. One of the Swamijis, Swami Dhyanamritananda, he used to take Gita Mridam, that is Bhagavad Gita classes for the teens as well as for the young children at our ITMED, that is Coimbatore Engineering Campus. So there he used to invite people from all walks of life, and what that subject was, my life, my passion. So there, a lot of people used to come and give a talk for about 1.5 hours. Whenever I was there, I used to go and attend these classes, how they have come up in life. So one class was given by one Preeti Srinivasan. And who is Preeti Srinivasan? I'll tell you. She was educated in US. After her +2, I think she came over. And of course, earlier days, I think she studied here itself, because at the age of 7, she was included in the Tamil Nadu's cricket team. At the age of 7, the senior team. At the age of 7, she was one of the players. And at the age of 18, she was a Tamil Nadu state cricket team captain who won the match at that time, some years back, for the team. National swimmer. And any university, she was like A+ something, I don't know exactly the grade which they have. She could study in any university in the US. That was like so brilliant. You can just imagine an 18-year-old girl with all this and very efficient. She joined some integrated course. I think it's MBA or something that time. And first year, along with the friend, she went to Pondicherry and she went to for a swim in the ocean. Unfortunately, a big wave just came and then somehow she lost the balance. She's a good swimmer. She fell down upside down. She didn't hit any rock, but broke her neck. The spine here, somewhere she broke. It was broken. And that moment she knew something is that the whole life is gone. Destiny was that. She was completely paralyzed. She is paralyzed. Rather, she is now also paralyzed from the neck to the legs. She is on the wheelchair. She lost all hopes in life. They were staying in Tiruvannamalai. That is a place in Tamil Nadu. But she never gave up. What happened was, like in India, in our country, there is no place right now. There is, because she's the instrument in that. There is no institution or any place for any woman who is actually having this spine injury to take care of them. Even men, there's only one or two. So she heard about two incidents where the parents themselves gave poison to two girls who had spinal injury. They died. In a poor family. These incidents made her change her outlook towards life. She was very negative, felt like everything is gone, but tremendous confidence. She came back. Of course, she can't do anything physically, but she has tremendous intelligence. She fought for her this thing, like, even colleges she can't go because there is no ramp even for the people. Our country doesn't consider much these people. Anything, accidents can happen to anybody. And right now she is doing doctorate in IIT. I think through correspondence or something, like, I don't know how. But in her house, of course, father is no more. A mother is looking after her. Her life is from the wheelchair to the bed. Now, but she has got the wheelchair, she can drive it. So she goes even Tiruvannamalai, Parikrama. I think she does. But what has she done over past 25 years? She came all the way from Tiruvannamalai, 400 kilometers in her own car. Of course, the driver brought her to Coimbatore to give a motivational talk with PPT presentation for people to help. She can't do anything. So her hands are all like this. She can't eat. Everything has to be, like done by somebody else. And she yearns for herself through working for a film company, like, like you give about the whole film, you write in one paragraph, it's some buffer, something. And she can't type, but there is a software where when you are talking, it types by itself, right? So she earns. But she formed a trust and people started giving, donating money. She had contributed, I think, to the people's almost 100 and more than 100 wheelchairs she has given to people who are suffering. She doesn't take a single pie for herself. She earns by herself. For her own this thing, she earns. And this trust, and she gives some Diwali and some twice a year a package to all these people, like whatever necessary things for their livelihood. Most of them are in wheelchairs. I know her personally because I've gone to her house. We used to play Scrabble. Scrabble is a word game. Of course, she can't keep, but then she's very good. She defeats me. Scrabble. She's a very good friend of mine. Now the Tamil Nadu government has given a hospital a place and a hospital building. And recently she started the organization called Inspire. That is for the spinal injury. I don't exactly remember the full form. It is a place where they give treatment. It's not exactly treatment. It is a encouragement. Of course, physically they do a lot of things as well as mental strength so that they can survive not depending on anybody. Amazing personality. And if you want to know more about her, there's a website, Soul Free. Soul Free. You can know. She gives TED Talks and all that. And just talking about confidence. We have, by the grace of God, hands and legs and good intellect, everything we have. But for small problems, we lose our confidence. We blame situations and people. But here we have one. Now I'll tell you another woman whom I know. I have a friend in Bangalore who is now joint income tax commissioner. He got 2 more years of service. When he was in Yeshwantpur, place in Bangalore, that is a training center for the new recruits, income tax officers. There were about 40 of them. And I was asked to take an integrated Amrita meditation class, there. So I went along with the team. Now I saw there one woman on the lift elevator, so one Riti Menon, she was introduced to me. She is a PO, like public relation officer, a modest lady about say 40, wearing a sari, covering herself. I talked to her. She's Malayali, Kerala, but I didn't know more about her. Then the yoga started, and about 4 hours class. This lady was sitting on the chair throughout, was not doing any exercise, maybe doing some visualization. It's about, see, the IM is about a 4 hours package. 4 hours, maybe we have some breaks and all that. 1 hour, we have some physical exercise. So all that, she was not doing anything. She was sitting on the chair. So after the class, I asked my friend, who is this lady? Because I got introduced to her, know why she was not doing. Then he told the story. When she was 21 years old, she was traveling in the train coming from Bangalore to Trivandrum. Near the door, near the toilet, she was brushing her teeth. Suddenly there was some break or some, like there was a moment, jerk in the train. She fell from the running train to the track, down. She broke her back. She was lying sprawled, like one hand on one track. I think between the 2 tracks, she fell down. Another leg, left leg on the left track, right hand on the right track, unable to move, but conscious. You can imagine the situation. I think it was dark also. One train is coming. She can't lift her hand. That train took her hand. Another train came, took her left leg also. Can't imagine the situation. And that was a time when somebody saw her lying down, immediately rushed to the hospital. That time she had written degree exam. She had finished her degree. And she had written SSC exams. SSC, Staff Service Commission exam, I think. But she was not sure. I mean, she had applied for it or something. So days and months of treatment, all her hopes shattered. But she regained tremendous willpower, confidence. She started, she lost her right hand and she lost her left leg. Right hand and left leg, yeah. So she started doing with everything with her left hand, typing, computers, everything. She passed the SSC exam. She got into the income tax office. And that time, some years back, she was a public relation officer, giving training to the trainers. Imagine. And how she came there with an artificial leg, which I didn't know. And why she was covering herself, there was no hand. Amazing 2 personalities whom I have met. Many people I have met, but I'm just telling something to the example. Where in spite of all the negative things in their life, how they have come up and still they are doing. And in fact, I went to the house. She has a daughter now. She must have passed SS. She must have finished her 10th class. So she again was telling about all these incidences. I went with my friend. Say a positive mindset. That's what we were talking about. Optimism. Then again, self-awareness. That's the whole thing what we are doing right now. That is again. The sixth one is flexibility in behavior. We got to be flexible. What is flexible? You know, a wire can be flexible, bend. You can bend it. And what is flexibility in behavior? You can adapt yourself into any situations. We should not be like rigid. When I was in college or say something that time, I remember one movie, Crazy Boys. I don't know whether you have this now. There were 4 people, Crazy Boys. It's a very hilarious one, humorous. So the Crazy Boys games, Crazy Boys supermarket, like that, there were some 2-3 movies. In Crazy Boys game, they were participating in Olympics. So these guys were running marathon. 4 of them are there. They're all, you know, like, you laugh a lot when you see that. So these guys were running. So when they reached one place, there were 2 roads. They have to reach the destination. So they were asking one guy, what is the place? So that guy said, you go straight instead of going there. So they went like this. They were going straight. Straight means they thought that they should go straight, one behind another like a line. They are going like this. Suddenly in the middle of the road, there is a pole. Now the pole is obstructing the line. So what they do, they go and take one axe or somebody borrow it. They take out the pole and then they go again straight. There's a lot of place around. Rigidity. You have some notions in life. Some particular, say you are not listening to that. I want this, I will go only like this. No, we have to be flexible. Various situations will come. We have to adapt ourselves into various situations. And the next is the eagerness to develop. Eagerness to develop, to grow. Isn't it? Not perfection, but growth. Then again, we have health and energy. We are talking about confidence. We have to take care of our health and energy. We should not always consume this junk food. Instead of that, take good food, eat well, exercise well, play well, take care of your health. Do yoga, do meditation. A willingness to take some risk. Willingness to take some risk. Some of this may be repetition, but still. And a sense of purpose in life. Now what we are going to do is, we are going to have an evaluation of our confidence. Are you all with me? I can see participants 14 plus 5 here. You're all with me, right? Over the phone.
Yes. Yes, Swamiji.
Is it boring what I'm saying?
No.
Are you getting bored? No. Good. So evaluating your confidence. Now what I request you is, you have about say 20 questions. You can write 1, 2, 3 down. Okay, take 1, 2, 3, 4 down, 20, and make 5 columns. 5 columns. You don't have to write down all the questions. I'll tell you what you should do. The first column, you write SA. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, up to 20. You go down like this. You make 5 columns. 5 columns. These are the things here, 1 to 20, 5 columns like this. First column you write SA. Second column you write A. Third column you write N. Fourth column you write D. And fifth column SD. I repeat, SA, A, N, D, and SD. Now what are these? SA is strongly agree. Now suppose when I am reading a statement, if you agree with that statement strongly, you will put a tick mark there. Understood? In that column. Now you don't strongly agree, but you just agree with that A. So you put a tick mark there. But you neither disagree nor agree, put neutral one. And if you disagree with the statement, it is not the statement which you should be bothered about. Whether that statement, how is it applicable to you? Be honest to yourself. So if that statement is applicable to you fully, 100%, you will strongly agree with it, you put a tick mark. And then the last one is SD. D is disagree, SD is strongly disagree. Okay, you're ready, right? Now I'll read out the statement. You don't have to write the statement, but you just tick down. A tick. Okay, he is also ready. Now you have SA, A, N, D, and SD, 5 columns. Evaluating your confidence. You're going to evaluate your own confidence. I mean, there's nothing, don't worry about the marks and all that. Finally, I'll tell you what. It is just to know where we stand. 1. So number 1, you don't have to write down what I'm saying. You listen to it and you put a tick mark in 5 or one of those 5 columns. Strongly agree, agree, neutral, disagree, strongly disagree. Number 1 is, I have a clear sense of what is important to me. I have a clear sense of what is important to me. You are very sure of what is important to you. If you 100% agree to that, you put SA 1 tick mark. If you just agree with it A, your neutral means N. You disagree with it D. Be very honest to yourself. You strongly disagree. You have no clear sense of what is important. You put a tick mark in the strongly disagree. Second one. I know what I want in life. I know what I want in life. Number 3. I never beat myself up about my failings. Suppose you have failings in life, you have failures, you don't punish yourself or blame yourself. I never beat myself, not literally beating yourself. You don't blame yourself, isn't it? Number 4, I can stand back and think clearly when things get emotional. When some emotional situations come, I can stand back and be a witness to my own mind, my own emotions. If you can agree with it, put a tick mark. If you don't agree with it, as I said, it is not the statement, it is connected with you. Number 5, a lot of my work involves things I enjoy doing it. Whatever you're doing, you take up projects or whatever, you enjoy. Those are the things. A lot of my work involves things I enjoy doing. Some people may have a lot of work which will be quite boring. In that case, you disagree, isn't it? Number 6, I sometimes become totally engrossed in an activity. Engrossed in an activity means involved. जो कुछ काम करते हैं उसमें पूरा दिल इसमें है ना. Some Pune students are there, Pune people. So I sometimes become totally engrossed in an activity. 7, I am known for being optimistic. Optimism already told, positive thinking. I am always optimistic. Number 8, I respect myself and many of those around me. I respect myself as well as others around me. I have respect for them. Number 9, I have a very realistic view of my strength and weakness. You know your strength and you know your weakness. A realistic view, a pakka knowledge of what you are. Strength and weakness. Up to 9, it's okay, all of you? Any question which has to be repeated online? Hope everything is clear. Number 10, I know what others consider to be my strength. You may have some strength in some field, but you know there are some others. I know what others consider to be my strength. Others may expect, oh, this fellow should be, I am so strong in certain areas. You are aware of that others are quite knowledgeable about your strength. I know what others consider to be my strength. It's clear, no? You are strong in certain areas and others expect you that. So you are aware of others. I know what others consider to be my strength. Suppose you are a singer and you know that others consider you as a singer. You are aware of your strength. 11. I consult others wherever appropriate before taking decisions. Now, wherever before taking decisions, I consult others. I discuss with others. Number 12, I am comfortable with both the big picture and the important details of situations. This I have to explain. In a company, there is a manager or the chairman of the company comes and addresses all the employees. He says we have to expand our business, and he gives some big ideas. That is a big picture. But then the other person comes and gives all the minute details, what we have to do to achieve that state. So some people may have just the big picture, but then we have to have the complete details, specificity, the specific details also. So I'm comfortable with both the big picture and important details of situation. So when a situation comes, the projected picture as well as the minute details, both you are comfortable. Are you clear about it? So the next one, number 13. I relish the opportunity to find out new things to grow. You always look for opportunity to grow. I relish means I enjoy the opportunity to find out new things, to grow. Number 14. I relish doing new things and taking up fresh challenges, taking in fresh challenges. You take up fresh challenges. Number 15. I take good care of my body. Like I'm drinking water always. I take good care of my body. Number 16. I feel able to handle stress in my life. I feel able to handle stress in my life. Number 17. I have a healthy attitude to risk taking. I already told about it, but how much you have that? I have a healthy attitude to risk taking. You take risk. Number 18. I don't always have to have my T crossed or I dotted before taking action. Means in our childhood, when we are taking notes in English, the teacher will say, don't forget to cross the T and dot the I, isn't it? So what is here mean? What does it mean here? I don't always have to have my T crossed or I dotted. Means suppose something is given to you, you don't have to have, you don't require all the details given to you. You just take that, you just accept it and then do it. You don't have to have everything told to you, like take care of this detail, every minor thing. You don't have to worry about. I mean, you're not very fussy about it. Number 19. I sometimes contemplate about the connectedness of different parts of my life. You're all maybe different ages. Up to this moment, you may have various situations in life, but you have sometimes you contemplate on how strangely it is connected. Suppose you don't do it, you put SD or D, N, whatever. I sometimes contemplate about the connectedness of different parts of life. The last one is, I know what I'm here to do. I have a chosen mission or purpose. You have a purpose in life. God has given this body. God has given this life. So you know what you are supposed to do or why you are here. What is your purpose? You have a definite purpose. Now 20 questions online. Is there any question which I have to repeat? Please, I'll wait for one more minute.
Swamiji, can you repeat the 19th one?
19th one, very good. 19th one, I sometimes contemplate about the connectedness of different parts of my life. Suppose you are 19 years old. Now up to 19 years old, your various experiences you might have gone through up to this age, but you have some sort of you contemplate on the how they are related each other, like there's some strange connection. You sometimes contemplate that there is a definite reason for like my life, or why I have gone through all this, like that. Understood, I hope.
Yes, yes.
Any other question which has to be, anyone? Okay, now the analysis. Now what is the scoring? Wherever you have put a tick mark, like essay, if you have put a tick mark essay, you're going to give 5 marks for all the essays. If you have put a tick mark in under essay, you're going to give 5 marks. The tick mark under A gets 4 marks. A. The tick mark under N gets 3. D gets 2. SD gets only 1. So all the essay gets 5. A 4. N 3 marks. And D gets 2 marks. SD gets 1. Now you have 20 questions. Maximum you can score is 100. Minimum you can score is 20. Because if you put all 20. So some of you might have scored like essay, you get 5, 5 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2. You add all that. You add your scores.
Can you repeat the 14th and 18th one?
What's that? Okay, you have added all the
14th and 18th one.
14th and 18th. You are asking now. 14th one is I relish doing new things and taking in fresh challenges. 14, number 14. I enjoyed doing new things and taking up fresh challenges. And number 18 is I don't always have to have my T crossed or I dotted before taking action. Means you don't, suppose somebody is giving you some project or something to do, you don't have to get all the details about it. You are not fussy about having all the details. You just take up and do it. That's your nature. If it is not, you put D or SD. Understood, I hope? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now make it fast. Now add all the scores. SA gets 5, A4, N3, D2, SD1. Now, if you have scored, you don't have to tell me what's your score. It doesn't matter how much you are, but it's just to know where we stand. And don't worry about suppose if you have scored little less. Oh, why I have scored. No, this is just maybe a little hint it will give to our. I mean, this is one psychologist from one psychology book. It doesn't mean that it should be 100% true. Okay. If it is a score between 20 and 40, full marks for your honesty and courage. Okay, because you have been very honest. 20, between 20 and 40 you have scored. Doesn't matter. You are at a low ebb right now. Right now you may be a little less confident, but you need not stay there. Definitely you can improve. So those who have scored between 20 and 40, this psychologist tell you that though you may be a little less confident now, definitely there is a lot of scope for improvement. Now, if you have scored between 40 and 60, you are in the right place. You may experience some confusion or uncertainty in your life right now. But in certain areas, you may feel little, like confused or uncertainty will be there. You may be wondering what to do. So give yourself some time to work. That is for those people who have got 40 to 60. Those who have scored 60 to 80, well done, pretty confident, but still a few things put you down. Still a few things put you down. 80 to 100, the psychologist says, congratulations, confident person, you are in pursuit of life vision. But then I'm going to add one thing to those people who have got 80 to 100. What is that? Don't be overconfident. If you are overconfident, finished. Isn't it? There is an English saying, like you hope for the best, but be prepared for the worst. What happens is if you are overconfident, we don't anticipate from certain areas some problems. Due to our overconfidence, we may overlook those problems and it can create problems for us. Anyway, this is a small analysis of our confidence level. So it's almost like 4:10, 10 past 4. We just spend some 5 minutes to, if you have any questions, we can ask. Otherwise, we'll go to the last, the 10 practices of happiness from John Powell, one man, one psychologist. That I'll do in the end. But in between, just 5 or 10 minutes regarding what we have discussed or something which you would like to ask, because it's an interaction. We don't know when we'll meet again. We all live in the moment, isn't it? So, is there anything you would like to ask online or offline? There are about 5 students here. Nandana, don't have anything to ask?
Actually, I'm pretty clear, Swamiji.
You are very clear. Did you enjoy the class? Was it useful for you?
Yes, it was useful. It was very useful.
Now, what are you doing? You are studying or working, or what you are doing right now?
I've completed my 12th and I've repeated 1 year.
Okay.
Now I'm waiting for the result.
Means you have written some exam or for some competitive exam, medical engineering or anything? You like?
Yes.
Medical.
No, not medical. I've written the entrance exam for NIFT and I've got the result. But I've applied to some colleges abroad and I'm waiting for.
Okay. So here I have a question, Swamiji, how to control thought, avoid distraction and procrastination. Procrastination is, of course, postponing things, isn't it? And thought, controlling the thoughts and avoid distraction. Well, controlling the thoughts, staying with Amma, say about 30 years or more now, and being in, of course, in this dress, it doesn't mean that we have controlled the thoughts. Very difficult. Now, don't worry about controlling the thoughts. But what we can do is, because thought mind is something which we can never stop. Now, if you are, I've not touched upon any philosophical or say spiritual aspects of it. Since you have asked the question, I'll go a little deeper into this. What I've been dealing, it's only psychological level. But anyway, mind, that's a psychological thing. But it's connected with our spiritual thing also. Because we all are fighting with our own mind. Fighting means we are all trying to understand the mind. First of all, what we are aware, we have to become aware of our mind. That's the whole thing about. We have been talking about self-awareness. Mind is something which is compared by Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa to a monkey, which is a drunken monkey bitten by a scorpio or something like that. I mean, it's very difficult to control the mind because mind, the nature of the mind is to think. It cannot exist without that. But what happens is negative thoughts which is arising. So that is because maybe because some samskaras we talk about it, or some situations, it might be something connected with our childhood. We have been like some experiences in our childhood, some negative emotions, some negative feelings. So the only thing which we can do is we try to become aware of our thoughts. For that, that's why whenever we are taking about this meditation class, I am integrated Amrita meditation class. That is very good every day if you practice IM. It is only 20 minutes. Those who have done this, they will know. Because right from the beginning to the end, this 20 minutes, our mind is completely in the present moment. That is what is important. Now to begin with, now let us say, how is a training given by Amma? Because we all go through failures, mistakes, and we all learn like that. But in the beginning, like stages, I remember, it was not like institutions were not there. We were very few people. Amma always used to tell there are very few people, Amma, about 100 people will be there. Places we all have throughout Karma Yoga. We have to work, do a lot of service, physical work, even concrete work, cleaning the toilets, this, that, everything we used to do. She used to say that whenever you find a small piece of paper, take time to take it from there and put it in the dustbin. I have learned this like from Amma. Amma used to tell. And then whenever you see in the canteen or the dining hall, you see some bird poops or something like that to be dirty. I've seen so many times when sometimes Amma comes and starts cleaning the whole thing. Amma comes and start cleaning the toilets. And she says, every small, pay attention to the small things. And what does happen? Suppose when I go to the classes, children, there's no point in telling adults about it. Amma says, no, this exam, you cannot bend a very, what is that, stiff stick, or say the old stick. It might break. But if it is a fresh one, you can bend it. So children at the age of, see, LKG, UKG, I always tell them, whenever you take a toffee, I distribute sometimes toffees, you put it in the dustbin. Say, where will you put this thing? I'll put it in the dustbin. Whenever you see a running tap, close it. Whenever you see a switch, some lights or fans which are not being switched off, take time to do it. When you see a banana peel in the railway station, take time to put it in the dustbin. When we start giving attention to small things in our young age, that will really help everywhere. Because our basic problem, suppose we are studying, we have got exam, or say some after 1 week, but there is a movie. Now, if you want to watch the movie, watch the movie. At that time, don't study in your mind. Don't think of studies, just enjoy. But when you close the TV, when you come and sit in front of the books, don't watch the TV. So do one thing at one time. That is the most important thing, which is the most difficult thing in life. Because our body will be here, our mind can travel all over the globe. But if the mind can follow the body, tremendous power will be there, efficiency will be there, your creativity will be maximum. You think of all the people who have achieved, even say Sachin Tendulkar, who is the best player of the day, at that particular second is totally there. Anyone, there is an actor, any part of life. So thoughts, actually, it's a nature of the mind to go astray, to go somewhere else. But the creating that awareness. So once we start doing some meditation, some say 5 minutes, just be aware. If you don't have to meditate on any form, you don't have any Ishtadevada or anything, just observe your breath. We can't even sit for 2 minutes just observing the breath. Mine will be funny, but it's okay. But continue the effort. Every day at one particular time, let it be 2 minutes. Okay, 2 minutes. Or you can slowly increase it to 5 minutes. Just sit and try to observe yourself. What are your, this is in Vipassana, there's one meditation where hours of a whole day they sit for 10. You don't have to do all that. A small step. Try to sit still and try to control. And second thing is, try to concentrate on one particular action. That will really help. Because it is the lack of concentration which actually disturbs us. Our body, our mind should be together. So this can be practiced. Doesn't matter with you, okay, our mind is like this. Nature of the mind. But then we become aware of it. So when the distracting thought comes, the second thing is avoiding distraction. So when the distracting thought comes, you can avoid it. You are aware of that thought. Suppose you are studying, then suddenly you remembered yesterday you went for a party and then you had all fun. At that time of when the first thought is not in our hands, but the second thought is in our hands. You have to decide whether you have to promote the second thought or not. That is awareness. If you can understand that second thought arising, the thought arising, we can say, mind, keep quiet. Now I have to go to study. Don't disturb me. You tell yourself to go away. That happens only when there is awareness. But if the mind, that awareness is not there, the thought comes and suddenly you indulge yourself in various things, suddenly you find that you lost all your time. This is a basically problem with all of it. It's a very good question. But then this is what the whole life is about, to bring the mind to the present moment. That's very important. And it's good that you asked the question, but it comes out of a long practice. Actually, I told you, even now, actually, things are much better. I won't say that it is not better. Things are much different from what we were before and what we are right now. It's not that we have attained perfection, but only Mahatmas who have gone above the mind, they have got the complete control in the mind. Their mind is in their hands. It is like the dog wagging the tail. Our case is our tail is making us move. The tail is making the dog move. It is a situation with all of us, like human beings. But those Mahatmas who are beyond this thing, they got their mind in their hands. But doesn't mean that we cannot achieve it. No, we try. And when we try regularly these things, some of the practice we require, we need to do some yoga. We need to do some sort of, like meditation, little bit, regularity. There you will find the difference. I'm 100% sure within 1 week you can see the difference. Because the more and more you become, say, suppose somebody is talking to you and someone tells about, with something which you don't like. I told you already, the gap between the thought and the word. Suddenly you may feel you react and you say some bad word. See, it may be a friend of yours. With one word, it is like an arrow which cannot be taken back. A lifelong enemy you can create with just one word. Word can be harmful. But then if you can avoid that 1 minute, it will be really good. So sometimes it can be a action which suppose, Viveka, somehow mind will be clouded. Discrimination fails. We all make mistakes in life. But then we learn through mistakes. That's another aspect. Failure is a fertilizer. Failure is a delayed success. Failure is stepping stone. That's what the whole thing is about. Never worry about the past. And the past is just a cancelled check. Even if anything has happened all in the past, right now, this moment, past don't exist for us. It's only in the mind or the memory. And the future is uncertain. What we have right now is this moment. So bring the mind to this moment. And if we can take care of this moment, automatically the next moment is taken care of. These are the spiritual side of the whole thing which we have talked about, the practical aspect of it. So controlling the mind, don't worry about it. We can never control, but be aware, become aware of the mind and try to understand the mind, and slowly we can work on it. So when we work on it more and more, the same situations which you have undergone some time back, or say some today, or let's say yesterday you had some reaction, and then after 1 week you see the same situation come, you will respond in a different way. And you'll be amazed how you are responding to that situation. But that comes out of practice, isn't it? If you want to learn music, a musician, you have to you have to practice every day. Nobody has become perfect overnight. So regular practice is required. Don't worry about the mind, but this is the nature of the mind. Once you understand that you are not alone, this is how the creation of the mind is. It's not a problem. Anger will be there, hatred will be there, jealousy will be there, uncontrolled desires may come. These are the Shadvairis, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, all these things. But these are all the part of the creation. So we people, why our main job is like we don't have any external job or our mind. You are trying to understand our mind, so we know like some more little more deeper about all these things arising, because right throughout the life we have been learning. So, but it is not that only we people who have gone away from all this. No, everybody in life has to understand more and more about their mind and situations, and we can start respond. So distractions, when it comes, when you try to do one thing at one moment, by practice, distraction can be avoided. There's no way suddenly you can avoid distractions. It is just the purpose in life. So suppose you have, Amma tells another example. You go to a this thing. What you know the Shivaji is okay. That I don't have the time to tell that. Suppose you're going for a movie. Let's take this example. Your main focus is to get a ticket. You may undergo many problems like people rushing and then this and that, but you have only one goal conscious. I mean, you're all conscious about only one goal, to get the ticket. Or say a mother there's a servant woman who is working in the one family's house. Now that woman has kept a small child in the house. The child is alone, or say some neighbor will come and take care of the child once in a while. Throughout, and she has to work from 9 to 4, in 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Throughout the time she is working there, doing this, all house chores, I mean, everything, cleaning there, but her mind will always be in the house. So it is just the goal consciousness, the love for the goal. Whatever we are doing, if you are studying, your main goal is to study. And when you do that, distractions will come, but then you go over it. You are not worried about it. So that focus in the mind, focusing on one particular thing. So that is the second answer. Procrastination, don't postpone, because postponing what has to be done today, it will only create problems. That is actually connected with lethargy and laziness. It is tamas according to the spiritual thing, sattva, rajas, tamas. Tamasic people like you, it's a part of the tamasic nature to, be lazy. So we got to discipline ourselves. We got to have a regularity in our things. This can start by creating a timetable for ourselves. You get up, you keep it, you have a 24 hours timetable, especially exam time. Every time it helps. What time you get up, write down 5 a.m. Okay. How much time you spend for your toiletries? How much time you spend for unnecessary watching certain things? How much time you spend for maybe studying? Like that, if you have a 24-hour schedule, you will know where you are losing. And when you are become time conscious and when you know how to manage your time, then you know the value of the time. So procrastination again, which something which we can deal. And the more we postpone the unpleasant, even many things, they say that don't never postpone the unpleasant because it'll always be nagging your mind, like you just start doing things. You look at people who are, like we have some CRPF people here, army people here. You can look at the discipline of life. So once you bring the discipline in your own lifestyle in this thing, this can be avoided. So I hope I've answered your 3 questions. Thought, distraction, procrastination. Samruddhi from Pune, right? Thank you. Thank you for your questions. Anything else? Ah, yes, you have one offline question. Yeah.
So I have a doubt on overconfidence.
Arya is talking about overconfidence. Yes. What is the doubt?
So I agree that overconfidence brings more problems.
Hmm.
But then also according to me, between the confidence and between the overconfidence, there is some less confidence.
Hmm.
So that is important because we have been worked on that particular thing. If we know more about that, we get confidence.
Hmm.
So we should have less confidence because we know everything on that. We have given our hard work on that.
Hmm. You have put in effort, you have confidence, yes.
So there should be less confidence.
Hmm.
Like not overconfidence.
Hmm. But you should have enough confidence, but not over. That's exactly the thing. Definitely confidence is required. It's not that not being confident or anything. You take up an action only when you have confidence in doing it, right? Suppose your teacher gives you a project. You said, okay, I will do it. I will do it means that you are confident about it. Now you have written that, but out of overconfidence, no, I know everything, doesn't matter. You go for an exam, you have an exam. I can do it very well. But then you feel that you can do everything. When you go there, suddenly some unexpected questions can come and that can give you problem. So when you anticipate a little bit of, like uncertainty there, you will be more prepared. That's all. That is the only thing what I'm saying. Overconfidence means the preparation should not be compromised in being overconfident. It may be a new area. Suppose if it is an area where you have, suppose I'll tell you, you go for an orchestra. You are a good singer. You know all the ragas, 10 ragas, you know that. And you're very confident of every raga. And you know some other ragas, but you're very confident of 10 ragas. And you're sure that the people audience will ask you to do only on one particular raga. You go there and you ask the audience, what do you want? Audience says you sing in the another raga. Finished. You're finished. You're not prepared. But if you are not overconfident, you are prepared for all the 20 ragas or whatever it is, then you can manage. So it is just being, you anticipate that little bit of a problem and then you prepare yourself. That is why the English people said you hope for the best, but be prepared for the worst. That's a very good thing. So we are just becoming prepared for that. Okay, good question. So I hope it's answered. Now it's almost time because we started at 3 and we ended at 4:30. So I'll just read out 10 practices of happiness. You don't have to write down, just listen. We must accept ourselves as what we are. We must accept full responsibility of our life. We must try to fulfill our needs of relaxation, exercise, nourishment. We must fill our lives with concern for others, all that we talked about. We must stretch by stepping out of our comfort zone, means taking risk. We must learn to be good finders, enthusiastic. We must seek growth, not perfection. We must learn to communicate effectively, communication skills, read English books. If you are, of course, if you are a little weak in English, it is very important. Try to converse in English or any language. Learn as many languages as possible. We must learn to enjoy the good things in life, and we must make prayer and meditation part of our daily life. Thank you very much, all the participants. I hope you not enjoy, at least you could get some points from there. Anyway, thanks for listening to me, and let's hope we'll meet again sometime later. Namaskar.